So obviously we want to get a boost off the start here, so start hitting the accelerator on 2. Then we do a trick here. Don't do a trick on this next jump, because it allows you to get into your drift quicker and with less speed, and then we can get around that nicely. And then yeah, you're just going to drift on this corner, just get to the orange drift, a small drift here, and then a double drift there on the orange again. So here I was slightly behind Bowser Jr., and then we do a trick off the rail. You want to hit one of those rails for a coin, and then yeah, as we fly, so this is where you make up all your time. This is where I would always pass Bowser Jr., because again, we've got high handling with Toad because he's a lightweight character and the real racer, and then we just use a mushroom there to boost across. Then here we're going to hit the rail, and then obviously trick off there, and then we're just going to trick off here for a little boost, gather 2 more coins. I just missed those little pop-up guys, thank goodness. And then yeah, it's just basically rinse and repeat. Here we're going to get some coins and go on the other pipe to grab that coin. I don't know why all those other coins were showing up, but yeah, we went right the first time, so we go left the next time. And again, here is your big time save. You're going to get a max drift with the purple drift. And yeah, you just want to stick as inside as possible. So there, I still used my mushroom, even though I didn't cut across as well. And then I actually wanted to get on the rail there, and I missed it, but basically just recovering. The big thing is just having that high handling as you go around the spiral toward the end of the lap. That is where you make up the most time with Toad. So here, just doing some little tricks, little boost, and again, this is where you make up all your time. Again, I beat the time trial by 1.5 seconds with this strat, and yeah, like I said, you basically just want to stay as close to the inside as possible, and then yeah, just boost right here, across the mud, and you're good. So their Ghost kind of takes a few different routes throughout this, but here you can see this strategy actually works really well. So I don't even drift here, it's not really required, and you do just want to pick up those 2 coins. And then same with here, I'm not even really drifting, just making sure I get those coins. We're going to do a little drift boost here, and then we're going to go into grabbing these 3 coins. And then ideally you want to grab these outside 2. I missed the 1. And then here I'm late. I'm a little late on that drift, but basically you want to cut that corner as tight as you can, and you can hit those ceramic pots. So then we're doing tricks. I'm not even going perfectly straight, which is suboptimal. And then here is the big key. You're just going to use your mushroom in that exact spot every time. It makes this run really, really smooth and easy. Like I said, there was very few tricks there, there was very few drifts. Here, now I'm just going to grab 1 more coin, so we take a little different route through there. 1 small drift here, and then here we're going to cut this corner tight so that we can save a bit of time. Ideally, I would have gotten that coin. And then yeah, here I actually wind up going really, really wide, but it's going to be fine. And then because I took the middle coins last time, so those coins are actually disappeared on my run. I'm not sure why they show in the replay, but we took the middle last time, so we're going to take the right side this time. And then again, just mushroom here, trick there if you can get the timing. If not, it's not a huge deal. And then on the final lap, just rinse and repeat. So you can go up on the right side there, you can do all these kind of like rail grinds and different routes to take, but I pretty much just was like, I tried it a couple times I think, and I was like, what if I just kind of take the best lines and see what happens. Like there, that was a very bad drift on that turn, and like I said, we were still able to beat the time trial. So again, very suboptimal, and we're still able to beat the time trial. So if you're just trying to beat the time trials, this strat will work well. The big thing is just using your mushroom there on the sand to cut that corner tight. So obviously you have to get the boost off the start, and we have our 3 mushrooms, and using those mushrooms is key to getting this done quickly. So rather than focusing on getting coins, like you could get those coins to the right, just always use your mushroom right here and then trick off there. Again, don't even worry about the coins, they're not worth getting. And then just try to trick off all these sand dunes, get whatever coins you can, do a drift around this turn, keep it tight if you can. And this is just a bunch of quick drifts on this S-type section. And that's literally all there is to it. You can use the mushroom there to go across the grass as well. Now I'm just doing a little bunny hop to get some more straight line speed. And then again, we're just going to rinse and repeat. Off the rock. So yeah, mushroom off the rock, do the trick. And then again, just doing tricks off the sand dunes. I'm collecting a couple more coins, and you can see we do get a bit of a time loss there. So realistically, it might actually be quicker to just leave those coins. And then here, I'm not even drifting, and it's almost just as fast. So that section was pretty sloppy, and like I said, I still was able to beat it with over 2 seconds to spare, even with some pretty sloppy gameplay, like hitting the mud there on that turn. And then again, we do the trick, not worrying about the coins at all. Like you can see, I only have 5 coins on this run, but it doesn't matter. Drift around the turn, and then here, I go back to drifting the turns. So like I showed, you can either just sort of drive without drifting, or do the drifts. Either way, very, very easy completion. This one definitely took me a few attempts to kind of get the route down, but once I had a route that I was comfortable with, it went pretty smoothly. So the big thing is getting those first 3 coins off the start, and then you want to do your rail grinds. So we rail grind there, jump over, so we're collecting our coins, and then here you want to stay really tight on that curve if you can. Sorry, it's this one you want to stay really tight on. That one is just a quick drift, but this one, yeah, like I said, keep it tight. So here's a strat that I found worked the best, is we jump over and do the rail grind on this side. So this, like I said, was what took me the longest to figure out. And there I got 2 more coins on that drift, and then we're just going to use the rail. So yeah, this is pretty much the route that you want to go. Like I said, I tried a bunch of different rail grinds and different, just like I said, different strategies. This one was definitely the most consistent. I beat it the first try when I tried this. So then we use our mushroom. The reason I didn't on the first lap was so that I could collect coins. But yeah, then we use our mushroom there. And then we do the rail hop again. So the only real skill gap is just getting used to hitting that jump. Once you get that down, you want to jump pushing forward. Don't push left or right. See there, like I hit the grass, and we were still able to beat this one. So again, there is allowance for some mistakes. So now because I had grabbed those coins already, I decided to just stay on this rail. And then we got a nice big boost there. Then we jump off. And then again, we're going to boost here. And then we have our mushroom in our back pocket for the final boost as well. So take it around, do our jump. So there, like I said, push forward, otherwise you're going to miss if you try to go left or right coming off. And then here, yeah, just use the mushroom. If you can get the angle better, you'll be able to cut across that grass easier. I didn't have the best angle, but still got it done with relative ease. So obviously you need to get the boost off the start, and as usual on time trials you've got 3 mushrooms, and that's key right off the start. So what you do is you mushroom over to those tires, and that's going to allow you to rail grind, and that is basically the key for this strategy. Then naturally as I'm drifting, I'm trying to collect as many coins as I can. So there's a balance there between collecting coins and taking the best racing lines. So there we take the inside line so that it's the quickest, and we also get our 3 coins. Then I take that right side, and then we're going to get the coins. Actually, we missed the coin there, but that doesn't matter. So again, there I really messed that up. You want to aim for basically the left side tires, and then there's a little space between the left side tires and the next set of tires in the middle. So you want to aim for that, and then you'll do that rail grind, and that's really the key to this one. As long as you're hitting that rail and using your mushrooms to hit that rail all 3 times, you're good. Here I don't bother with the outside coins because that line just takes too long, so the coin boost is not worth taking that big long route outside. Here I actually am going to get the coin, do a trick off there for a boost, and then there, again, you can see that crack. That was perfect. That's where you want to hit it, and then we trick off here. And yeah, just really, really simple strategy. You don't have to drive that well. Like I said, I beat this by over a second, and I'm not optimizing grabbing coins or anything. I really just focused on pretty much taking the best racing lines and using the mushroom to get the rail slide right after the finish line all 3 times. So then, and obviously doing tricks and stuff on every jump that I'm hitting. So then we're going to get that other coin, do a trick, and that easy. So hit the gas pedal right at 2-ish there, and then this one has a lot of tricks. So you trick, trick, trick off the start, and then you want to get a really tight drift on that corner. A tight drift is key. That will put you ahead of Waluigi. So when I was doing this run, I was ahead of Waluigi at this point. Then you want to drift again really tight, get those 3 coins, and just hit the corner of that ramp, and then take this line and hit all these ramps. And then as you're landing, you want to go into a drift right here, hit that ramp with a trick, and then again, as tight a drift as you can get, and then you're gonna trick off the ramp. And then here, you go into a drift and cancel it right away and get into your left turn. That is the key. You want to use a mushroom on that mud. Waluigi does the same, but it's really hard to get that angle down. You'll see I don't do it as cleanly in the next 2 laps here, but we still did get the clear, so you don't have to be perfect. But do what I did on that first one if you can. So now the coins aren't actually there, so we cut that turn closer. Just to shave off a little bit of time. Again, doing tricks everywhere. Right into a drift. Keep it tight. So here, we got that left side coin, and then we go into a left wall ride, so we get more coins. And then we're going to come down. So here you will be behind Waluigi, but don't worry about it too much, because now you have more coins. So you can see my angle wasn't as good on that drift. And yeah, so I didn't go through the mud perfectly, and then I actually went into the mud on the other side. So you want to cancel that drift off the boosters as quickly as you can and get into that left side drift so that you can use your mushroom to speed boost across. So here I really messed this up. I didn't cut that one nearly as close as I should. So you can see this isn't a perfect run by any means, and I was still able to get the clear. So double trick into a drift. Again, that was a pretty wide turn. I can cut that a lot closer. And then here's what I'm saying. So you want to cancel this drift as soon as you can and get right into that left turn. Now, I'm not sure if the reason I went into the mud more is because I have more coins, but we were still able to beat Waluigi with those strats. So there are some tricky ways that Bowser goes in this. But with this strat, you can just stick to the same lines on pretty much every lap. So first, I go left, and then on the next one I go right, but that's just so I can get coins. But I'm not going up and over the top, and I'm not doing anything too crazy. You can also wall ride just inside of that turn, but that takes a little more skill. The point of this video is to show you an easy-ish and consistent way to beat this. So yeah, it's mostly just drifting and taking the same line every time. So here, you want to get those coins, you hit a max drift there, do tricks off all the ramps. Here I did get both those outside coins, so that was kind of lucky, but those coins can be kind of hard to hit, and then I'm going to try to get the inside coins, and I think I did just get them. And then yeah, just do your tricks. And then do another trick off here. So here I was actually in the lead and I still have all 3 mushrooms, so that's really, really good. and then we're going to collect the coins on the right side, get another coin, do the trick, straight into a drift, get the ×2 drift, like the orange one, and then come out of that, grab another coin, do another drift, hit your trick going off the ramp, and then again, just a hard drift here. So there, I took the turn tighter because I got those coins on the last run. The coins still show up in the replay for some reason, but I had already collected them. And then just another hard drift around there. So then here's what you want to do. You start drifting really hard, and then boost with your mushroom right through there. That is your big time save. So then we're going to do that again on the last lap, and then we still have our mushroom in our back pocket for when we land. We just use it right before the finish line. So again, just sticking tight to the walls to keep my lines as short as possible. And again, get the ×2 drift, and then right into a drift, cut that line really short as well. It's nice to get coins, but you can also just run it so that you're driving the least distance possible. I'm not sure which is more efficient, honestly, on this one, if it's good to focus on the coins or the lines. But yeah, I basically just tried to keep the inside line, as you can see, because that is the quickest way to get around. And then here, again, we're going to do that boost across the lava. This one wasn't as clean as the second lap. And then we do a trick off there, and then we have our mushroom to finish. So yeah, that was about half a second quicker than Bowser. You don't have to go up on that chain on the right. You don't have to do that wall ride, which can be a little tricky to hit consistently. You can just keep with those lines on every single run and get it done. In this video, I will be showing you an easy way to beat the time trial for Dry Bones Burnout. So as you can see, I beat it by about 1.5 seconds. I'll just show you the setup that I was rocking. We've got Monty Mole with the Rob Hog. So you can see we have a lot of acceleration and handling, which is really good on this map because there's a lot of tight turns, as you will see. And yeah, I beat this one on like my second try. I tried kind of copying the routes that the Ghost took, and you do not need to do that at all because there are a bunch of wall jumps and some things that you can do. But if you just follow my routes here, you can do the same route every time. So you can see I'm not even drifting at the start. I just stay low, and we take this turn. And what you want to do is go to the right side because you can actually get a ×3 boost. You can see we go orange, and then I just went purple right before. And you can see I actually missed some coins as well. So this wasn't even an optimal run. Like, I wasn't getting all the coins that I could have even with taking the routes that I took. And then we're going to jump off here, do a trick, straight into a drift. So you can see, like I said, they're very tight, skinny turns. So that's why you want something with really good handling. And not a lot of straight lines, so the speed is not really needed. And then we go right at the lava, and right before you hit the lava, you just want to use your mushroom. And then you rip through that, and that first lap was under 48 seconds, which is pretty good. And then, yeah, we just follow this same one again. So here I'm going to do better at getting the coins, and then I still miss some coins on the right side. So in the replay mode, it always just shows all the coins the whole time, but you can see that I only have 7 coins, and yeah, I was still able to beat this one. So do the trick there. There I almost lost it, and then I am hitting the wall. So again, this isn't like a perfect run. This is just showing a strat that you can use to easily get this done. Jump off from the top, do a trick. As soon as we hit the lava, do the mushroom, trick off that. And then, I know on the first lap, I didn't drift here. So you can either just drive through there or drift that little S turn. And then again, we're going here, and we're going to go right side again so that we can get that triple boost. Get the triple boost here. Finally, I'm actually getting some coins. So you can see I'm now up to 10 coins. Do a little drift there, hit the boost. Then ramp it off here and get straight into a drift. That time, I played that one much better. You get a little hop here. Jump off here. And then we're just going to boost over the lava, hit that final jump. You can even see I didn't even take the best line there. And yeah, in under 2 minutes and 23 seconds. So pretty smooth run. Hope the video helped, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. So the big thing is basically just do not care at all about grabbing coins. So you can wall ride on those coins right in front of you. You never want to do that on the first lap because you'll get squished by the pounders here. But I don't do it on any of the laps. So see, if you do the wall, you're not going to be able to get those. So you want to stay on the green arrows because they will boost your speed. And then here, again, you can see I'm kind of trying to go for coins, but that's not even really necessary. If you just go straight down the middle and try to do it as fast as you can, that's going to be pretty much the best way. Here, we're sticking on the very inside on our drift and trying to stay on the green arrows for that little boost. And then always just jump there and use one mushroom. That's where you'll always use the mushroom. And then hopefully the loaders aren't covering the boosters. So I like to do the right booster first and then the left booster. That way you get 2 boosts and you're cruising, but that is what I mess up on the final lap. So here again, I am going for some coins a little bit, but you don't need to do that. If you just go in a straight line, the time save will be quicker than collecting the coins. So here I'm on the arrows going against me, so I kind of went to the middle, waiting for it to change. So yeah, you just have to kind of adapt to what those arrows are doing. Here again, the loader backs up just in time for me to get both the boosters. And like I said, at this point I had like a 1.5 second lead on Toad going into the final lap. And then there I kind of messed up. So yeah, I'm not sure what your timing will be on those pounder things, but my timing wasn't great. And then yeah, you want to be doing tricks off those little jumps. There I hit the side wall, so I lose some time. Here the green arrow's on the outside, so I take a really bad line, and it stays like that the whole time. So again, this last lap was just really, really bad, and I still beat it by about 0.8 of a second. And then here, the loader, I should have just kept going straight and get that one. So I missed a boost, and I was still able to beat it. So yeah, like I said, the strats that I used seem to work well. So off the start, you definitely want to hit your boost. And then right away, I used a mushroom, and I get around there. And that helps me just establish a little bit of a lead. And then yeah, you just want to keep your turns tight. And I was trying to collect coins, and like there you can see I miss a coin. So ideally, you're not going to miss the coins that I get in this run, because it will just help you a little bit in the course of the run. Like if I didn't miss that one coin, and there I missed a coin as well. So yeah, ideally you want to get those coins and follow that route on the first lap, because it will just help you for the subsequent laps. So then yeah, we take an outside drift there to collect coins, and then we kind of do a diagonal jump to collect more coins. Now here we're going to go around this ring, and then we're actually going to use our mushroom on this part right here. So you want a mushroom, and again there I got slowed up a little bit because I didn't time my mushroom and hit my drift quite right. But if you do, you're just going to get through it that much quicker. You do a little leap off the ramp, collect another coin, and then yeah, obviously you want to avoid those football players as well. There, I just missed that coin again, unfortunately. So again, some of these missed coins, if you hit them in your early laps, you're just going to keep going faster. So now we do an inside drift to get those inside coins, and then we get the coin on that jump. And then I actually used the mushroom on that first one again, or you could do it on the second one. Either or. It's just kind of a preference thing, but because I mistimed it on the lap before, I wanted to hit it on that first turn instead of the second one, and even still, it wasn't super clean. There, again, we avoid the football players, and now we have 20 coins, so we don't have to worry about getting our coins. So we want to do an inside drift here, and then an inside drift on the next turn as well. So we get a nice inside drift. and then just make sure you're hitting your tricks on every hill, and you'll be fine. So yeah, that's the strat that I used. It worked. Wasn't the smoothest run. I watched the ghost run, so I kind of knew where to use the mushrooms, and then I beat it on my first try. So maybe there are some ways to optimize it, but one thing is to make sure you hit all 3 of these boosters. The ghost only hits 2, so you get a nice little lead right off the bat. And then yeah, we're actually going to prioritize collecting some coins in this one, because we'll just get some more speed by doing so, so the sooner we can get up to 20, the better. There, I just did a little boost on that straight section, which you definitely want to do. Any of the longer straight sections, it's definitely good to just do that little bunny hop boost. Here, this is the most important part. Only do 1 boost and then get straight into a drift so that you can make it around that turn with the mushroom boost. What I did wrong was I went left of the bus, and then that is where the ghost passed me. So when you come out of that, you want to go right at the bus, because then otherwise I wouldn't have got past. So yeah, just a bit of a time save there, which I didn't do. And then yeah, go up that railing so that when you jump off, you're getting the boost from the jump, and then you're also collecting those coins. Here, I didn't start a boost until later, so again, I'm having a little bit of a time loss there because I could have had a better boost going up that ramp. But that was just due to me not really knowing the map, because I didn't really do any practice runs before this. This was just a one and done. But like I said, I'm just giving you some info that you can use to optimize it even further if you want to. So now we've got 20 coins, so we don't even have to worry about grabbing coins. So we want to drift on that turn really tight. And then what I do, you don't necessarily have to do this. You could just do the bunny hop boost on the road. But I actually landed on there so that I can trick off and get a little bit of a boost. But again, you could just land on the road and do the bunny hop boost. And then this is the next most important part. So again, you want to boost with your mushroom across there. And this wasn't the most clean, but yeah, then you have to switch directions and do another mushroom boost across the grass. And that's going to save you a lot of time. There, I was a little bit late on the drift, and I didn't really know which way I was going. So that part was sloppy as well. Again, just inexperience with the map and the course, because this was my first time. And then I didn't get into a bunny hop boost until late. And then I do it too late to really even get the benefit of the boost. And even with all those mistakes, I beat it by half a second. Having even stats is pretty good on this one. So you want to hit the boost and just go perfectly straight, and that will line you up to bounce off both ramps so you can get a bit of an early lead. Then take that drift as tight as you can. On this run I didn't get that drift perfect, but on other runs I got it a little tighter. Then another drift up onto here, hit your jumps. You want to try to get as many coins as you can within reason on this one. So like that one's easy to get. And then ideally, if you drift and get all 3 of those, that is perfect. And then you want to start on the right side here for these jumps. And then once those barrels pass, you switch to the left side, get the coin every time. Then here, we're going to get 3 coins. I missed my boost coming off of that, which was a mistake. And then I mushroom boosted there, which is actually earlier than the ghost does it. But as you can see, it gets us like a really, really big lead. So I like boosting there, and then you definitely want to boost here. That's a critical boost. And then make sure you get that left side catwalk. And then yeah, just jump back and forth. You're collecting coins. So now I'm at 17 coins. Trick off the thing. Watch out for those flame things, because they'll hit you and stop you. But yeah, we get a nice drift around there and another mushroom. So now we're out of our mushrooms. So the ghost will actually mushroom on this part, but I don't find it necessary because you can get a pretty good drift there and line yourself up really nicely for this part. This is by far the hardest part of the section because you'll have to avoid those barrels. So I just missed that barrel, and then we do a trick off there and then a trick at the end. So you could also use Bowser and Bowser's cart if you wanted. But like I said, I just wanted to mix it up, and this little dump truck seemed good. So basically, there, don't even worry about coins, like hit some if you can, but I kind of missed the coin. What you really want to do is stick on the inside track as much as you can. because that is going to shorten the length that you have to go. And I had a massive lead after 3 laps without even using a mushroom. So yeah, I could have beaten this one without mushrooms. Like I said, I had a 3-second lead on the Ghost, and this one, yeah, it was pretty easy. And like I said, you can see it's just a whole bunch of easy left turns, so handling is not a concern. You want speed, and that's what this combination gives you for racer and kart. And then just hit the jumps as often as you can. So there, I was actually drifting over the jump, so I didn't actually get the trick off the jump. So like I said, this was my first attempt, so this isn't like super optimized or anything, and still a 3-second lead. So chances are most of you won't even be watching this video, because this is pretty much one of the easiest time trials in the game to beat. You just have to know how to drift to the left. Even there, I did a mushroom without drifting, which was definitely suboptimal, but it doesn't really matter. I could have used my mushroom to cross the grass there, but I choose to do it here instead. So we hit the trick, use the mushroom to boost, and then this time I do the drift and the mushroom much quicker than I did on the previous lap. And I'll just give you some tips to help you beat this. But yeah, there's no real easy way to beat this one other than just driving really good lines. So you can see I get very inside here with a quick drift and then another quick drift to the left. You also do have to be picking up the coins. In some, it actually makes sense to skip coins because it's quicker. In this one, you definitely want to hit 20 coins before the end. It will help you. I did make a couple mistakes and still shaved a second off the Ghost, so you don't have to be flawless. But yeah, so there we get a full drift into 2 speed boosters, and then I hit the trick. And then yeah, like I said, just make sure you're getting these coins and hitting your drifts, and like I said, just kind of staying on the inside lines as best as you can. That's really all there is to this race. So there, again, I get a coin. I go left. I'm not sure on the forks in the road which is the better way to take, but this way was good. Stay inside. You can still get 2 coins. As you see, I get both sets of 2 coins, and I hit the booster. I had about a half-second lead at this point because the Ghost goes outside. So yes, they are getting 2 more coins, but getting a half-second lead and only being down 2 coins is worth it, in my opinion. And then you can get a trick out of the 1 jump out of the water, and then the 2nd jump out of the water. And then I do a little drift here into a jump and get another coin. And then here's where we use our first mushroom. So you want to mushroom right over to that ramp, hit the ramp. Again, I don't know which fork is quicker, and I actually missed that first coin, which was a shame. But ideally I would have hit it, and then I missed the first coin on that set of 2 as well. So like I said, I missed some coins, I screwed some things up, and I was still able to get it done. So here we get a nice big drift, and then there again I missed the first coin out of the set of 3. But yeah, just do your best to hit those coins. I would say at the 3 out of 4, if you're not at 15 coins, you're gonna be in trouble. So, and like I said, I missed a few. I could be at like 17 or 18 at this point. So then here, gonna go into a little drift. I don't do this part super well, but yeah, you're gonna drift into a mushroom and then hit that jump. But yeah, when I come out of it, I hit the wall. So not ideal, but you do want to be tight on that turn like I was. And then if you have timing like me, you're able to just go straight past the thwomps. So this part is crucial. I've had the Ghost in front of me and actually made up time by not drifting here. So if you just keep your lines tight, and that's where the Ribbit Revster having that decent handling stat really helps. So yeah, I would recommend there. I missed a jump. I don't know if you noticed, but I missed a trick on one of those jumps. But yeah, I don't drift on any of those turns. I just drive straight, and you can go quick. So I missed a trick on that jump, and then here, I don't know what the heck I was doing, but I freaking missed one of those boosters. So I lost a lot of time there, probably at least half a second, because I was so wide as well. So I had a lot of side-to-side movement, and I missed a boost. So that was really bad. But we can make up for it. You can see we're at 19 coins now, And again, just taking really tight inside lanes. Now we have 20 coins, and we're using that booster, staying inside, hit the booster when we can. Same thing here, you want to hit all these boosters, but then keep it really tight to the inside, just to cut off some of the track so you go quicker. And then again, try to hit those tricks. And then this part is really just hitting nice drifts. So this is our last mushroom. That's pretty much the best place to use it, because you're not going to really be able to use it after this point. Like, you couldn't really hit it there because the turn is too tight. But yeah, like I said, just stay on those inside drifts. And even there, I guess you could use it, but I think that first one is the best one to use. And then just hit the trick there. And unfortunately, I didn't break 4 minutes 20 seconds, but as I pointed out, I did have some mistakes in that run. So there's a ton of different routes you can go. This one just sticks to the same route the entire time. So we get a boost off the start, and I do go for some coins, but I actually beat this one first try. So I don't know if going for the coins is necessarily worth it. If you can hit them all in the first run, or in the first lap, then it's definitely worth it, but I do miss a couple. So there I actually drifted. On the subsequent laps I don't even drift on those boosters, and it's pretty much the same, like same speed to get through. So I have 8 coins now, which is really good. And then we're going to hit a drift here, but here's where I start missing. So I missed 1 coin there, which is unfortunate. And then here's where I'm going to use my mushroom on all 3 laps, and it works quite well. So you just boost across there. I think I was a little late. The grass might have slowed me down a bit. And then I don't have a great angle there, so I do miss 1 coin. But again, not the end of the world. And now this part's key, so I do a little bunny hop there, and we get a ×2 charge. You might be able to stretch that to a ×3, but I always just took the ×2 and took that boost, and it worked well. And then we get a ×3 drift boost there. And here's what I was saying. I'm not even drifting for these. I'm just making sure I hit all the speed boosters. And then there, see, that's what I'm saying. To go outside and get 1 coin is probably not worth it. You're probably better off just taking an inside line and saving the time by having a better line rather than getting a coin. And same with there, rather than going a bit mid, I could have just stuck more inside and saved a bit of time. And then there again, I kind of go in, out, in, just to get a coin. We get a nice boost, and then we hit a bunny hop boost right here. Those bunny hop boosts are key, because I did only beat this one by 0.4 of a second. So those little boosts on that straightaway definitely help. So again, and then there, I didn't do a ×3 drift. So if I ran this back, I would have got the better drift on that one. But like I said, this was first try. So here's what I was saying there. I take the inside line, which is probably quicker than going to get the coins. And you can just see how well the machine handles with this setup. And that's what you want. You want to stay really tight on these turns, because that's where you're going to save the bulk of your time. There's there's at least 2 other routes that you can take, but I figured this was the easiest one and the most replicable for most people out there. So that's just the route I went with. And yeah, like I said, got an easy clear on my first attempt. So maybe square is not the right word, but basically you've got like some long lines. So this is very, very simple. Just do a drift off the start. You don't even have to worry about collecting coins. In fact, it will hinder you. That's why I'm able to win by over 4 seconds. So we get a level 2 drift there, and then we just go around these guys, do a drift around this cow. Like, very, very simple, this one. I beat this first try, by the way, too, so this wasn't like optimizing. I did watch the ghost, like I watched the cow ghost to see what it does, but that's the key right there, is taking that jump with the mushrooms. I even get unlucky on these molehill bounces. I hit the grass there, I miss a jump right here. So very, very unoptimized as well. I could probably push and beat the cow by 5 seconds if I had like a really good run. But yeah, so those coins were used up now, so you just want to take an inside lane to shorten the track and make it as quick as possible. And then even here, it'd be nice to go more inside, but that cow is always in the way. We get a stage 2 drift again. Hit the jump, do a boost, and then again, cut it tight, and then use your mushroom. And even there, I was a bit late on the mushroom. I had the drift boost, but the grass was already starting to slow me down when I hit my mushroom boost. So if I had timed that better, again, there's some time save. So this is far from optimized, and I still smoked it. So basically, just use Bowser and his cart, and you'll be fine. I also like that the cart is a quad on Moo Moo Meadows, because it's sort of like a farm level. So using a quad just feels right. So yeah, this is one of those cases where character selection really can make a difference. Because like I said, you do not need handling on this level. You can see it's just a few left turns, very, very easy. There I hit the boost perfectly with the mushroom, so that was nice. But again, I just missed the molehill bounce, where I could get even more gains. So like I said, some room to improve, but if you're just trying to beat it, just use that strat and you'll be good. So I hope it helped. You want something with really high handling because there's a lot of tight turns. So speaking of those tight turns, one thing I would recommend is just take the turns as tight as you can rather than going for coins. So you can see I'm like right on the bumper beside the track. And then here's our first mushroom. So we go across the sand. This allows us to get 3 coins. And then I do a small drift here. That's optional. And then here is where I do my other boost. But you can just kind of S your way through that if you want to. But I found that to be another good place to boost. And then again, just doing those really tight turns. And like I said, Baby Rosalina with the Fin Twin is great for that. So yeah, you definitely want a light character with a high handling cart. Then we do a small trick off there so that we can hit that booster when we land. I started my drift almost a little too early there. So yeah, there was a couple sloppy plays in this, but it was still a pretty good run overall. And yeah, so we're drifting hard because there's some hairpins here. Big hairpin there, and I think I hit the sand because I lost my drift. If I didn't hit the sand there, I probably beat this one by a second. So that is where you want to use your last mushroom, and then you can see I hit the blocks, but I just kind of bounced off it and kept going, and then you just want to hit that booster going into the finish line. I go a different way than I do on the other 2 laps, and that's for a specific reason. It's because the route that I go on the first lap is very difficult. So I recommend doing it on the first lap because if you don't hit it, you can just restart right away, where if you try to hit it on the last lap and you miss, you're just going to waste a lot more time. So right off the start, you want to get those 2 coins and then hit a max drift right into that rail, and that rail has 2 coins. So now you can see we're at 4 coins. And this leaf route, I take the same every time. So we get off there, we go straight into a drift, and we use our mushroom to get across there. Hit a jump here, hit a jump here, get on this plant. So this is the difficult one. You have to jump before the coin to reach that. And then, yeah, and then I do a double jump to the right off. So that way saved me 1.8 seconds over the ghost in just 1 lap. So here we get a max drift. So as I was saying, that is the most optimal way to go, but it's difficult to hit every time. Luckily, you only have to hit it once. So we land on this leaf again, do a trick, hit that leaf, do a trick, hit this leaf, do a trick off that, and then a trick when we get off. And then this time, I go this way. So I actually missed the coins. I take a really bad line here, but ideally you want to get those 3 coins, then you'd be at 9. You do a trick off there onto the booster, and then you're going to drift around this corner, and then you're going to use your mushroom here, and then speed across to the finish line. So those are the 2 routes that I recommend taking. So again, I've grabbed those coins in between the boosters, so now I'm just taking that inside lane really hard on my drift, because that's going to save time, because you're just taking a quicker route. And then again, we keep this leaf route the exact same as the first 2 laps. Just do this consistently every time. And again, we're not going to go left, even though that would be a time save. So here, I just cut it short because it's like, well, I don't need those coins now. So you can either do one of 2 things. Try to get those coins on the second lap, or just cut it short like I did there, because that, again, is going to be a time save. Get a small drift bonus there, and then mushroom across. So like I said, that was 1.5 seconds faster than the ghost. but 1.8 of those seconds was saved just on the, well, not totally on the plants, but on that first lap is where I got a 1.8 second lead. And then I think I had a 2.5 second lead. Yeah, I did on the second lap. But then I only finished 1.5 seconds ahead because the Ghost caught up, because they take that route that I took on the first lap. They take that route to finish. So if you're good enough to hit that, hit it every time. You're going to smoke this one. If you're not, try to get it at least once, because it is a huge time save. And just with a little bit of practice, you'll get it down. So that's it for the video. This one can be a little tricky until you get that plant strat down. But once you do, it's pretty easy. So here it is again. Boost, boost, onto the plant, jump now, and then jump now. And yeah, that is by far the quickest way. So hope the video was helpful, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. So I ran it back, and then we beat it by 2.8 seconds. So yeah, I'll just show you what I do. So here's where you want to use every mushroom. So just start a little drift, and then do the mushroom, and then try to get a double drift there if you can. And then try to get those coins. I got lucky, I just hit both of them. And then try to get these coins. So yeah, what the Ghost does is it collects a whole bunch of coins and takes some different routes. Don't do that. Just stick with this one route for all 3 laps, and you'll be able to smoke this one. So there you can see I got a little wide, but not the end of the world. And then yeah, just make sure you're hitting your tricks, hitting your drifts. And then here is the other part. Don't worry about those coins on that thing. Don't worry about really anything else there. I did bump the wall, but still got a drift boost off. But yeah, always just stay inside, because shortening your route will save you way more time than collecting coins will. So you can see I still got 8 coins on that first one. We still have these 2 to collect, so now we're at 10 coins. That's more than sufficient. We land, we hit our booster pads. I actually missed one of those booster pads on my last lap, so I could have been even quicker. But like I said, this is more just to show you an easy strategy to use to beat this one. Like I said, this one was pretty easy. Just have to, like I said, have good racing lines is what it comes down to. So there, again, you can see I'm sticking right on the inside to save the max amount of time as I can. Then we're just going to boost here again, get back onto the road before your boost runs out. That's also crucial. And then there's no coins there now, even though they're showing in the replay. So I'm just cutting those turns really tight to save even more time, because you don't have to worry about collecting any coins. Then here is what I was saying, I actually missed that booster thing. And that's fine, because I was cutting it short. So yeah, I lose a little bit of speed, but I'm also maybe making up time by taking a bit of a shorter route because I was sticking to the inside. So maybe it's a wash, I'm not sure, but I was aiming for that booster. I just kind of missed it. And then here again, just into a drift. There, I bumped the thing again, but we finish in under 2 minutes and 20 seconds, so a pretty good run. I wanted to try a strat, because it's been working for a lot of other time trials, to just kind of ignore coins and go for the optimal racing routes. And that works on this one. I'm not saying I skip all coins, like right here, I try to get some. Ideally, you pick up those first 3, but I took a bad line, but it doesn't matter too much. So the Ghost actually uses a mushroom here. I choose not to. I save my mushroom for the end of every lap, so then it's consistent. I'm using it in the same spot every time. So we get a couple coins going through there. And then, yeah, it's really important to hit your water jumps here. So every time you splash in, you can do another trick coming out. And yeah, that will help boost you through there. And then, yeah, get these coins, obviously, because they're pretty much just on your way. And then do a trick off here. But skip these coins entirely, and just go ahead and do a mushroom boost there, and you'll save a lot of time. And then it's really just rinse repeat. You can see I mess a couple things up throughout this run. Like there, I missed the jump, so I didn't get a boost when I landed, but that's alright. And then here, I do go for the coins. This is actually probably a time loss doing what I'm doing with those drifts through there. Normally I just kind of drive through that part. But then you do want to drift into there to hit the boost, and then again just hit your water tricks. And then this time we're going to go on the other side because there is 2 coins on the right side because we went left last time. So we're just going to go to the right, pick up these coins. So yeah, I'm not really going out of my way to get coins, but I'm picking up the ones that are kind of within my normal route. So at this point, I had a pretty big lead, and I know I didn't even beat it by a full second, but I was never really in danger of losing this one. And like I said, I made a couple mistakes here and there. But yeah, if you just keep your lines tight, that's really all you have to do. And it also simplifies the whole track. Like, there are different ways to go. You can wall ride and jump over the top. You can go up there where I go, like you can go to the right where I go left every time. I just, like I said, this was my first attempt and I wanted to give it a try, and it worked very well. Like, this was a easy run. Not much optimization needed, just pretty good driving, and that's about it. So then we boost here, and we finish up and beat the time trial. But as I go through these time trials, I'm learning certain strats are kind of just good for everything. So as I often do, I don't focus too much on the coins, I just focus on good racing lines and staying consistent. So obviously I get those first few coins, like we have 6 just off the bat, because those are really easy to get. But here, you can see we hit a drift into another drift, and I missed some of those coins. Ideally you do want to get those, but again, don't go out of your way to get coins. And then really just try to hit your tricks within the water. So I remember in the Knockout Tour and the Grand Prix, this was the level that gave me the biggest problems because there's all those fish jumping. But this is the important part right there. You want to drift through there and hit your mushroom on every single lap. It's a big time save. But yeah, you've got those fish, you're trying to drive on the waves, which can be difficult. So yeah, I just kind of struggle with this level, so I was really glad to get it done on my first attempt. So yeah, I don't think this ghost was too tough to beat, personally. There, we got the other coins, so now we're at 14 coins, which is more than sufficient. So like I said, now I'm just going to be trying to get good racing lines. And yeah, just kind of hitting a drift here, I miss a jump there. Like I said, I just really struggle in this water. Then I take this pretty wide, but it works out sort of okay. So we kind of boost through there, and then we get up on that side a little bit. But because we were doing a trick, we got a boost on that side part, so it didn't slow us down too much. And on the third lap, the exact same thing happens to me. So if you can get your mushroom boost down so that you exit out of that building at a better angle, you'll smoke my time. And you'll definitely beat the time trial. Because like I said, this wasn't so smooth. But yeah, if you can just avoid the fish and not get messed up too much by the waves, you'll be more than fine on this one. So yeah, I don't have too much advice other than what I've already said. Just kind of get the coins that are there and make sure you hit this mushroom boost every time. And there again, you can see I come out at a bad angle, go slow, and I still broke 2 minutes and 20 seconds. But yeah, you want to keep your racing lines really tight. Like you'll see I go into a drift right off the start here to try to take that corner as tight as possible, do a trick out of the water for a little bit of speed boost, and again, I'm keeping it very tight on that drift. And then get the coins that you can get, like don't go out of your way for coins on this run, but definitely try to get any that are kind of in your path. I actually wind up missing a few, but yeah, do your tricks. So this was the way I found to be the most consistent, because you can use a mushroom down there to like zip across, but I found it very hard to hit consistently. So I just started going up top, and I stick with that route the entire time. There's a bunch of different routes that you can take in this one, but that was easiest for me. And then I would just mushroom right there. Doing that little mushroom boost it saves a lot of time, but it is a little bit of a skill to get consistent. But basically you just want to start your drift nice and early so that you have a sharp angle going around that corner and over the finish line. So again, I'm just keeping it tight. I'm not worrying about those outside coins because I'll lose time going to the outside, and time is pretty tight on this time trial, at least with the strats that I'm using. This run wasn't perfect by any means, but like I said, I was driving like pretty tight. So there, again, you can see there's like some coins on the other side of that turn if I don't cut it short with the mushroom, but I just think it's worth it to always cut short with the mushroom. So once I went for this strategy, I think I beat it on my second try. The first try I just got passed by DK at the end, and I realized I just had to tighten my racing lines up a bit. But once I did that, yeah, like I said, it wasn't too bad with this strat, but you do have to be on point for sure. Like, I know one of these turns I messed up. I think it was lap 2. I kind of swung wide. Like, I need to be keeping it more inside on that turn to save a little bit of time. But even without being perfect, I was able to beat this one by close to a second, I think it was. So, yeah, anyways. The easiest strat to just beat the computer ghost time. So basically just follow what I do here. You want to hit the jump, don't go out of your way for coins, but definitely get some coins along the way. Here I don't even drift at this part, it's just as quick if not quicker to drift. See, so there's one avenue you can take is to ride up that dinosaur's tail. Here I miss both the coins, which is unfortunate, but ideally you want to get those coins and then use your mushroom here, and then hit your jumps. And then yeah, just hit all the tricks on all the jumps, and then there again, I missed some coins, which is unfortunate. So you can either do two things. You can go for the coins, like I kind of tried to do and fail. This is one part. That Triceratops is gonna kind of always be in the way, at least if you're on the same pace as I am. But you're just gonna have to deal with it and kind of just navigate around it as best you can. But yeah, so you can either get the coins, or see, like I'm taking kind of a wide turn there to try to get the coins, or you can just keep it very tight on the track to just improve your time. So there, I'm doing a bunch of tricks. So the choice is yours. Like, I only have 10 coins here. See there, I kept the turn quite tight, missed a trick off that first little jump, but it's not a huge deal. And yeah, we beat this one by over a second, I believe. Oh yeah, and that's another thing. So I tried tricking off that, and then you actually kind of get hung up on that dinosaur. So just avoid the dinosaurs as best you can on laps 1 and 2. And just looking there, it looks like there might be another alternate route to the right that you might be able to mushroom pass. I'm not sure, but like I said, I just use my mushroom at the same spot every time to keep it consistent, keep it simple, and I had no trouble beating this. Once I did that strat, I think I did a couple practice runs, but once I just went for that strat with the mushrooms, I beat it first try. So, however, this one is a lot harder to do, and you have to do it 3 times. So my advice would be to just start the race, and here's where we use our mushroom. So you drift, you kind of aim between those boxes, and then you can come out on here. So I hit it slowly, but if you hit it fast enough, you can actually get on that inside rail. But at least for me, it was pretty inconsistent because I didn't practice that mushroom too much to get good at it. And then obviously we just want to be hitting our coins as much as we can. Little drift there, little drift there. Always trying to be boosting because again, we have some decent acceleration. Here, if you can hit all those coins, that's ideal. I missed them on previous runs. I had hit them. This one definitely took me a few runs. Probably took me close to 20 minutes of attempts. Yeah, just because hitting this mushroom consistent 3 times is tricky. So yeah, there again, not a good boost. I had got it to where I get that inside rail slide, and it does save you a bit of time. But then on that turn, you kind of go to the outside, where if you don't hit the rail slide, then you at least get on the inside track on that turn. We hit the booster, again, a drift. Just trying to collect some coins. Ideally, I would have had all those coins. I know I missed one, so that on the final lap, we don't even have to take that route. And here, again, just trying to pick up some coins that I missed. Do the drift boost. trick off the thing, and then we just have to hit the mushroom slide one more time. So it's funny because on this run, none of my mushroom slides were very good, and I actually beat it. So the big thing is just getting across and like actually hitting it without slowing down too much. If you can hit that 3 times, you're probably going to beat it. Because this was the first attempt I had where I actually hit it 3 times. And as you can see, I was going up to it slowly. Here, I don't do the booster. I'm just trying to take the fastest line possible. And then I get a little drift. But yeah, this was the first time I hit that mushroom boost all 3 times and I beat it. And then there, cut that turn super tight to, like, you don't even need the coins. So you can take that line on your second and third lap if you collect those coins on your first lap. So not even the smoothest run, and I beat it by 1.5 seconds. Try to keep it simple because these videos are designed to help people that might be struggling. So like the less skilled tricks that you have to use, probably the better. So I actually clipped the wall right off the start, which is not ideal. You can get a little jump boost right off of exiting the water, and then try to hit these coins, which luckily I get all 6. You definitely want to do that if you can. They're pretty easy to hit and it's very helpful. Then we get a 7th coin here. I take the outside so that I can drift inside into here. The computer ghost actually uses a mushroom there. We just save our mushroom. You could get some of those coins as well. I also miss a jump boost going through the water there. And then here we just drift and keep it really tight because that will allow us to complete the lap the quickest. There, I get lucky getting up onto the sidewalk for another little jump boost, but if you don't, that's fine. We've already collected these coins now, so again, just drifting as far inside as I can to just shorten my racing lines. Then I use a boost there because I was kind of at a bad angle, but it's also just a good spot to use your mushroom. And I still have 2 mushrooms because we didn't use any on the opening lap. There again, I miss at least 1, if not 2 jump boosts, and then we're gonna drift really tight again. So now I'm not even bothered drifting, not gonna do a jump boost off the gondola, nothing like that. And then again, just keep your drift tight to shorten your racing lines. Hit this jump boost, hit that jump boost. Then again, we are going to mushroom past this part, go straight into a drift. This time I use the last mushroom because I don't really know another good spot to use it. So that just helped us cut down our angle a little bit. We get another coin. There we hit the jump boost on the water, which is nice. And then again, we're just going to cut it tight with our drift. And I even hit the wall there. So yeah, this was like one of my earlier attempts. I didn't get it first try, but it only took a couple. I beat it by 1.5 seconds. So I'm gonna teach you basically the best spots to use your mushrooms and everything like that. So sometimes I say just ignore the coins and take the best route. You don't really want to do that in this one. The coins do make a difference, and since they're on your typical path, you do want to be picking them up. So you can see I am prioritizing the coins because it's not really changing my racing lines too much. There I hit a bit of snow, and I also hit some snow later in the run as well. So yeah, there you can see I wasn't even doing tricks or anything. My focus was just on getting the coins. You could probably trick off one of those jumps to get a bit more speed. And you'll notice I don't even use a mushroom on this whole first lap, and that is because I was focused on collecting coins. So I missed 2 coins basically there on that first lap. So ideally you'll hit those. And then here, now that's the only coin that's up, even though in the replay it shows all the coins. So we do a mushroom boost over that snowdrift so that we can get the other 2 coins that I didn't grab on the first lap. And then these coins I had already grabbed. Other than that one, I had missed it. So I kind of do a drift, make sure I get that 1 coin, get another coin there, straight into a drift, then into another drift. And then here's where we're going to use our mushroom on the next 2 laps, is right before the finish line. So here I nail this mushroom into a drift, and then I come out with some boost. So that was really, really clean. On the last lap I mess it up, and like I said, I still beat it by 1.5 seconds. So I would have beat it even quicker if I didn't mess it up on this last lap. But yeah, you can see how important the handling is, because there's a lot of S-curves, a lot of drifts. I think acceleration is tied to mini boost, and we're getting a lot of mini boost, so the high acceleration makes a big difference. You can see there, again, I hit some snow, which had slowed me down. So yeah, if I could just avoid, because I'm trying to cut those corners as tight as possible, but obviously you don't want to hit the snow and lose some speed. So then straight into a drift, into a boost, and you can see I lose my boost just coming out of that. But like in most of these time trials, it almost makes more sense to avoid different routes and grabbing coins and just getting the coins that are like easily accessible, like those first 2 off the start you want to get, and then this one here you want to get, and then ideally you can hit these 3, which I know I miss at least 1. Yeah, I missed that last one. So those 4, don't even go for them, just do a mushroom around that bend and you'll be good. And then make sure you hit the boosters, and then when you come out of this you're gonna have a little jump, and yeah, make sure you hit the boost there, do a little drift boost here, into a jump with a trick, through that, and then do another trick right there. I missed that trick out of the water. And then yeah, you want to grab these 3 coins. Unfortunately, that booster kind of threw off my line, so I missed all 3. So I only beat this one by 0.5 seconds, but you can see I had a lot of wasted movement on the flight there, and I also had a lot of just bad movement going for those coins. So my first lap was pretty horrendous, and yeah, like I said, I still beat it by 0.5 seconds. So this strat can work even with some pretty poor driving. And yeah, basically the rest of the race is just rinse and repeat. Like I said, hit these boosters, make sure you hit the glider boosters at the end there. Do a little drift here, going into the jump. Again, boost off your jump, and then here is that boost I was talking about that you want to hit out of the water. And then there again, I miss a coin. So I would have been going faster for the first 2 laps, or the next 2 laps I should say, if I had hit all 3 of those coins in the first lap. So if you aren't able to get it, I know this strat will work if you just get the coins that you should gather. If you can get them all in the first run, you'll be chilling. So yeah, a little drift there. The big thing is getting a good angle on that mushroom, because that actually saves quite a bit of time. You can get a decent lead on, I think it's the Rosalina ghost on this one. But yeah, this one wasn't too bad. Like I said, this was pretty unoptimized, and I beat it on my first try trying that strategy, as you can probably tell by how sloppy the driving is. There, I finally got that 1 coin, and then again, just hit the glide booster and you'll be laughing. So I hope the video helped, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace. To kind of see where they boosted, and I use the boost at the same part every time, which we'll see. It's pretty early here, it's in that mud straight ahead. So yeah, you want to hit this rail, do a trick off the rail, and then get right into a mushroom and a drift. And then unfortunately I missed the back end of that rail, so I did miss a coin. So like usual, I don't really go out of my way for coins, but if they're on my route, then I will pick them up. So yeah, I kind of missed one there, missed a couple there, didn't trick off the rail. So this run was like far from perfect, but like I said, this was my first try, so it's not super optimized. And then yeah, like I said, these coins are pretty much on your route. So we have 9 after the first lap, easily could have had 11. And then here I'm like, oh, maybe I should go outside, and then I didn't even pick up that coin, nor did I get that coin on the rail. And then I go really wide with the drift, which was not good. And then this time we go to the right, just because we picked up most of the coins on the left last time. So I go to the outside. I think that's probably quicker, then going inside and going around. You can also boost through those boxes at the fork in the road, but I choose not to. And then here, I already grabbed those coins, even though they show in the replay. But that's why I kept my drift really inside, just to shorten the track and speed our time up. And then so here, this time I actually glide properly. I get that coin, do a boost, catch the back of the rail. So that's how you want to do that boost, especially on the first lap, because you'll get 2 coins on that rail. So that time I did it properly. And then, yeah, again, just boosting on this side because I feel like it's the quickest. Again, this wasn't a super clean run, and I still beat it by over half a second. And yeah, like I said, first try as well, so this one is not too bad. Just kind of, like I said, get the coins that are on your route and use the mushroom through that mud. So it's really hard to consistently drive on water because you'll try to do a drift or a jump and just mistime it, and then that can really throw off your run. So that was the difficulty for me on this one. So right here, what you want to do is boost off that every time. I did hit the wall, so a bit of a time loss, and then I also missed those coins. So a pretty bad start. You can see I have 0 coins. There I missed a jump, like a jump boost, but I do get into a drift, and then ideally you want to grab these 3 coins. I missed one of them. And then we're going to take the inside lane here because there's 2 coins up top, so we want to get them. And I think I might have missed 1 coin there, but yeah, do a trick off that. And then there, I was going for the log because you can actually get 4 early coins if you hit that log. Unfortunately, I missed it, so we just get those 2 coins on the left, hit the booster pads, and then always take that little shortcut going into the finish line because that will be a time save. Then again, we do a boost and then straight into a right turn drift and then hit our mushroom. That one was much cleaner. Still not super clean coming out of it though, as I missed the ramp coins again. And then here, I'm trying to get a drift, got a boost, so that's good. Like I said, it's very inconsistent to hit those boosts. Then I got that middle coin that I missed on the last one. But yeah, it's tough to hit those boosts because of the waves. And then here, we're just doing a tight drift. You want to keep it tight, as tight as you can around that bend, just to help yourself go quicker. Here, this time we hit the log. So hitting those logs is really good because then you're on this inside track and you can still hit this shortcut and you get those 4 coins. So like I said, if you can get that one on the first lap, that's ideal. And then again, we're going to go into that right side drift. So we get the drift and the mushroom. That time I think we got a coin there. And then yeah, I'm just trying to hit jump boosts off the waves as much as I can. I missed a drift going around that turn. And then again, I'm cutting it sort of tighter. And here, there again, I was trying to drift, but because of the waves, I didn't have my drift going, but we were still able to stay ahead of the ghost. Again, if you notice, I didn't boost on that second jump leading into the curb, because that's going to make you take that curve super wide, and it's actually a time loss. So on that second jump, just don't do a jump boost, and then you can go straight into your drift. Keep it tight around the curve, and then obviously hit that shortcut at the end. So it's like 1 giant lap instead of 3 laps. So you can't use your mushroom at the same spot every time. So in this video, I'll show you where I use my mushrooms. So right off the start, we're on a straightaway. So I do a little bunny hop boost into a drift to grab these 2 coins. And then I just keep it tight around that turn. And then I pretty much try to go in a straight line while being able to grab one of the coins from the jet ski. Again, straight lines are the quickest way to complete any race. Here I use my first mushroom around that little grassy section to cut off that turn, again, to make it more of a straight line, so we can complete this faster. I just get a ×3 boost there into a drift. ×2 boost would have been fine because it actually ends up elongating the drift a little bit. Then we go right into another drift. I do a jump off of here, another jump, So just getting all these jump boosts, and then we go to use our second mushroom through this little shortcut. That shortcut is wonderful. And then, yeah, trying to get some coins, just doing a bunch of tricks. This is my first run, so, like, I did watch the Ghost, but yeah, I didn't have everything, like, super optimized coming out of that shortcut, so kind of a bit of a bad line. And then there, I kind of run into the guide rail, and then we get into another boost. Probably should have done a ×3 boost there, and I should have started it earlier, but it doesn't matter. We use our last mushroom here, hit a bunch of these tricks, and then I thought I was going into a drift, but drifts are kind of awkward on water, so I actually missed my drift there, so again, a little bit slow. So now we're just going to go into a bunny hop boost, which I do right off the ramp there, and then we just collect 2 more coins and the finish. So this one was really, really easy. The trick is learning where to use that second mushroom, I think. Just being able to identify that turn. Other than that, pretty easy one. So I hope the video helped. Catch you later.